slide because anything education related, any questions you have, concerns, needs you have, please feel free to reach out to me at any time. We're here to support you and your needs as we're all navigating distance learning and changes every single day with our kiddos' education. That also goes for you educators and specialists out there. I know we do have some educators joining us today. Please know that you are also our clients. You are our members. We care about your success as well, and we want to support you so that you can support our kiddos with Down syndrome and your students. So please feel free to reach out to me should you need any support in any way. I'm available via email, phone. We can do a Zoom consult. We do trainings, and we've got, again, tons of information up on our education page on our website, which we'll be taking a look at in just a little bit because that's kind of what we're talking about today. So I'm really, really excited to introduce to you all our brand new low-tech library. This is a really amazing communication tool, and it's not too difficult to navigate, but upon just taking a look at it, it might seem a little overwhelming. So what we're going to do today is talk a little bit about communication, the importance of it, AAC, and then we're going to talk a bit more about navigating our website. So let's go ahead and get started here. Also, before we get started, we do have Miss Nancy LaBelle, our executive director. She is joining me today to help facilitate this workshop. And so if you do have any questions, please feel free to utilize that chat feature on Zoom. And if you have questions, you can enter them into the chat space. And Nancy's going to be fielding those questions. Now, some questions we may wait until the end. Some questions we may need to address as we're navigating the slides, and if there are questions that are kind of keeping us from moving forward to the next slide, then Nancy will help facilitate those questions. And then also we have Amanda Roberson, who is part of our AAC team, and she's going to be joining us a little bit later in the presentation to let you guys know a bit more how she can serve you guys and support you while we are all learning about this new. Hi, Amanda, there you are. So as we're all learning how to navigate this new wonderful AAC low-tech library, let's get started. So like I said, we're going to talk about today the importance of communication. We're going to talk about AAC, which is augmentative and alternative communication. And then we're going to jump into navigating this new low-tech library. This for myself. So we all need to communicate, right? With our students and our kiddos with Down syndrome, expressive and receptive communication and processing challenges, it can make it harder to convey thoughts and ideas and feelings effectively. It makes it harder to meaningfully participate with adults and peers and just navigate the world around you. If you don't have the means to express yourself, and if there are some processing delays, there's a big expressive and receptive communication gap, then these are all going to be big hurdles in your ability to successfully navigate the environment around you. We all need to communicate. So if you have those challenges ahead of you, and you have limited or no means to communicate those thoughts, those ideas, those needs, then that's gonna end up leaving you anxious and frustrated. We'll have withdrawal because there's a feeling of not being able to relate or feel like anyone thinks that you have anything to say or cares what you have to say. You will start to see certain behaviors because behavior is communication. So if you don't have access or opportunity to communicate appropriately, then we are going to see behaviors tied to it as well, right? And so if expressive language is not giving that individual access to meaningful communication. And we've got a lot of our students and a lot of our kiddos who are expressing themselves with language, but some of them struggle with intelligibility. Some of them may not have the full vocabulary that they need. They might just be approximating certain words. They've got a lot to say, right? But if that expressive language is still, accessing like a full scope of expressive communication is still a barrier, then we need to find alternative methods of communication. We need to do whatever we can to provide that child, that student, with the means to communicate. And that may mean lots of different ways of communication, right? It may be using words, using our hands. And then there are other supports that are out there that help us communicate even more effectively. So that's what we're going to talk about right now. AAC. So AAC defined, I kind of broke it down for you guys and so that we can kind of understand which each piece means, right? So augmentative. So what we're doing is we're adding, right? We're augmenting, we're adding to, we're making greater, we're expanding, we're increasing, right? So someone who may only have, 50 expressive words in his vocabulary at that time, we want to enhance that. We want to add to it. We want to make it greater. We all know that there's a big expressive receptive language gap in our kiddos with Down syndrome. So we know that our kids can understand a lot more than a lot of times they're able to express. So we want to give them the tools so we can add to their communication. We can make it more robust. We can expand it and increase it, build their vocabulary and communication. And then alternative, well, that's just different, right? So we have to look at different ways to be able to expand and augment that communication. And then, well, communication. So let's kind of take a look at what types of communication there are, right? There's no tech, right? So you are using your words, maybe approximations, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 word sentences. And then there are things like using your body, right? We can gesture, we can say yes or no, we can point, we can do a thumbs up or thumbs down, we can use sign language, right? That's not using any kind of tech in order to communicate. So that's one way of communicating. Now let's add to that. Let's enhance that. Let's make it greater. And we can do that through low-tech communication tools. So, oh, I'm sorry, Nancy, is there a question? No, okay.
Not that I know of, Elizabeth.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I heard something. I just wanted to make sure. Okay, so our low-tech tools, it doesn't involve electronics, right? So I used PECS as an example, and PECS is simply Picture Exchange Communication System. So we know that our learners with Down syndrome are strong visual learners. That is a huge strength for individuals with Down syndrome. So by providing labeled pictures that they can use to point to and communicate with, to build their vocabulary, their understanding, those pictures are a low-tech way to be able to enhance and add to their communication skills, right? And so this is just an example of what picture exchange communication systems look like. Then there's high tech. So with high tech AAC, that's when we're really starting to take a much more complex kind of customized approach. High tech generally involves, it always involves using some sort of complex electronic device like an iPad, a tablet. And then we have tons of customizable features, and there are different communication systems that can be downloaded by an AAC specialist, completely customized for your child or student. And again, it really builds on more and more complex communication. And so that's kind of at that high tech end of the communication spectrum. Today, we're not going to be talking about high tech communication because that's not what our library is about, although our AAC specialists are always available to discuss high-tech communication needs as well. But let's take a look at the benefits of low tech and why we felt it was so important to be able to provide our members and their educators and specialists and families with access to those low tech tools. So benefits of low tech are low tech tools can help facilitate the early implementation of AAC, right? So we start with low tech and we start to see our students and our kiddos really find, success building vocabulary, building these opportunities to engage in more meaningful communication. We see it working, right? And so it's kind of a gateway into higher tech communication tools. We see this is working, and now all of a sudden, oh, we need more pictures and more paper to represent this activity because this is really working with my kiddo. And at that point, right, you might graduate from going only low tech to maybe incorporating high tech and some low tech. Etc. So it's just a kind of a great starting point. It's a great way to build those foundational AAC skills. And so that's a great benefit of low tech. Because when you saw the computer screen earlier, you see that high tech piece, it looks like all of the low tech pictures, right? It's just all on one tablet. And so by familiarizing themselves with that low tech AAC tool, it makes that transition into high tech a little bit more familiar, a little bit easier. Low cost, high tech tablets and iPads and these high tech communication systems are not cheap. And so by using low tech communication tools, you are, saving money. It's a lower cost to you. It's also portable. There are lots of different ways that you can make low tech communication boards portable. There are kiddos that have them on key rings. You can use a binder that you can carry around with you. There are some kiddos that even have wearable low tech tools that they can just kind of flip and find. So there are lots of different ways you can make it portable as well, and you have flexibility with your approach. Also, low tech tools are customizable. And then finally, one thing that I think is really important, because when you get into that high tech tool, it's so super customized. That sometimes it's not so easy to navigate for someone who's never seen it before or practiced or modeled. By using these low tech tools, let's say in the community, at the playground, at school, of course, or on a play date with peers. Those low tech tools, or those visual aids that you can just kind of whip out, they're pretty universal as far as the images are concerned. So it gives adults that may not be familiar with the high tech tools and peers an opportunity to actually engage using the same pictures, right? To be able to help communicate with the person using that low tech AAC tool. So it gives more opportunity for modeling, for shared participation and use, which ultimately, right, increases participation for our kiddos using that communication tool, and which ultimately increases inclusion, opportunities for inclusion. And just that feeling of belonging, like, oh, my typically developing peers can also use that. Cool, we can all use it together. So what we wanted to do with this AAC low-tech library is really provide a holistic approach to improving communication. And so what we've done is we have taken all kinds of customizable visual content, and we have provided links to resources that help educate you, educate your team, your school team, or any individual, peers, siblings, that can educate who are new to AAC to understand the benefits, to understand the processes. We have links to really help guide you to become more informed and more aware and educated about AAC so that you can help your student or your child navigate and you understand why you're doing this. You understand what the benefits are. Um, and then in addition to that, we have tons of links to activities and videos and songs that give you a chance to put what you've learned into practice. You've got this content, you've got all of these pictures you're using. You have you have resources to help you understand how to use them, why you're using them. And then we have activities and videos and songs that reinforce all of those things, right? And so it really provides our users with that holistic experience. It reinforces all of the key reasons we're using AAC. And so I really think that it's a comprehensive library and that really just gives you guys all the information you need. And then again, just tons of resources to really cool activities, songs, videos, etc. And we're going to get a little bit more into that as I kind of show you how to navigate. So at this point, we're going to dive into our low-tech library. And again, if you have any questions, let us know if you feel like you can't move forward, without us addressing those questions. And then we'll just go from here. All right, so navigating the website. So when you log on or, go to, you don't have to log on, but go into dscba.org. So you just Google our website. And then once you get there, you just go here to the education tab, and then it'll provide a drop-down box, and you've got the AAC option there. So you just click on that, and that takes you to the AAC page. So that takes you to our low-tech library. You'll see that we have, you'll have to scroll down a bit, and we're going to get into it in just a minute. But this is what it looks like. I just wanted to give you kind of a screenshot of the communication boards, what we're providing to you. And as you can see, we've got columns here full of different types of boards and schedules, etc. And so upon just kind of taking a look at it, it looks like, whoa, okay, there's a lot there, and I'm not quite sure how to navigate that. But it does provide you with some instructions. But what I realized is that when I'm just kind of going blindly into this, and when our AAC team developed this really cool page using Padlet, it's kind of a bulletin board style. And at first, if you're not really reading everything and really taking a look over that legend and that terminology, it can feel a little confusing. So we thought that would be one of the main reasons that we're coming together today to talk about this low-tech library, is to make sure that you guys are empowered with an understanding and knowledge about how to just get into it and start navigating it without feeling too overwhelmed. I just want to kind of highlight the key components, and then we're going to take a look at it live. So the key components of our low-tech library is that there's a legend on the left side of the screen, and we'll get into that and I'll show you. And that legend provides you with tons of different need to know information. It helps you navigate the library. It will help maximize your experience. So it's very important that you read that legend before you move forward. It gives you lots of great definitions so that you understand some of that talk, that therapists will use, some of the language that's used by specialists and educators. And it just helps you better understand that language. It gives you access to hundreds of printable PDF pictures, communication boards, visual schedules, social stories, behavior charts. So we've got kind of like all of those communication tools are all now in one place, which is really cool. Also, like I said, we've got activity links to dozens of songs and videos, helpful websites that are chock full of great information about, AAC, about, again, how to approach things, why you approach it in that way. So just tons of really helpful resources. Then, for those of you joining us who may be teachers or specialists, and you actually have access to BoardMaker Online, with each category, we provide a link to be able to click right on BoardMaker Online, and you can instantly customize the boards that we've created right there online on the spot. So that does require a subscription. And so if you do have a subscription to BoardMaker, you've got very easy access to customize right there. And then if you don't, that's okay too, because we're going to provide you with customization support. So our AAC team would be happy to customize these boards for you. And that's what we're going to get into in just a few. But first, I want to show you these very important icons. I'll show you these and then we'll get into actually getting onto the website and navigating to the page. But these are icons you're going to see throughout the page in the library. And they're very important because they're all very relevant to the content that you're kind of learning about. So we've got the music note that is for a song link, the video link we have there. Anytime you see that hammer icon, that means you can create a customization form. You can request for a particular board you're looking at to be customized to your kiddos' needs or your students' needs. And then with the heart, that's a link to a helpful website that might contain more information about AAC or this particular activity. It may give you tips and strategies and tools. So every single section that we will go through when we get onto the website, they all have these icons. So not only do you have these pictures, you've got this whole this other whole area of support in lots of different forms to help reinforce what we're working on here. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to just dive right in, and I'm going to share another screen. We're going to pull up my well, let's see. Let's see this. Oops. Sorry. How am I? Hold on, folks. Sorry. Bear with me. There we go. All right. I can make this go away. There we go. Okay. Are we good? Does everybody see our website now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we're on the website now, and let's just go in as if this is home. Okay. And so now I want to check out this new library. So we go to the education tab. We go down to the AAC section. And then
Elizabeth, unmute yourself. I just had to mute everyone.
thanks, Nancy. Okay. So now, now that I'm on the AAC page, I'm just going to scroll down and you see the low-tech library. So I'm going to just go, you can either click here to explore the inventory of, and inventory just means all of this content we're providing to you, or you can just click on this. So here we are. This brings you to our low-tech communication boards. And what it means by board is that we've simply have these visual aid boards that basically with the picture communication systems that are all topic centric, right? So they're all about something in particular. And we're gonna there's not enough time to go through all of these, but I just want to provide you with some navigational tools so that you know what you're looking for as you go through and explore. Because this does look a little overwhelming, we thought it would be really important to help you understand how we can break it down into these digestible and manageable chunks. It's not as overwhelming as it looks. So as we log in and we're here and we are on the low tech communication board, then you go right here, you see legend on the left, and please read. And that's really important because we want to make sure you understand what you're looking at here and how to best navigate it. So we are letting you know what you can customize. So anything highlighted in blue is customizable. Any of the visual aids that you see that are in blue are things that can be customized. We also provide you with a description. It'll tell you what the board can be used for. We provide you with links to Boardmaker Online, the different activities. We have a lot of this is also available in Spanish for our Spanish speaking families as well. The different icons, we have different symbols and icons that tell you exactly what you're looking at, and give you the definitions for some of the brands we're using or some of the icons that we're using. Location tells you how many pictures are on or symbols are on the board, right? So if you see location and it says number 6, like right here under visual schedules, it says location 6. If you look down, there are 6 pictures here. So that's what location means. So what I'm going to do now is just take you in. So each one of these, they're all the same, if you will, right? They all provide you with the same kind of content, but different subjects and different pictures and different links. And so, for example, if we look at choice boards, so these choice boards, kind of self-explanatory, right? It gives our kiddos or students an opportunity to express their choice, to be able to let you know what they want by choosing something from a field of visual options. And so here, let's get here. Okay, so let's start at the top, just as an example. Snack time. So here, it gives you a description. Snack time. It's vocabulary related to snack time, including pronoun, verbs, noun, descriptors. You see here is our hammer. It's customizable, and we're going to go a little bit more into that so you understand what that means. Location, 15. That means there are 15 pictures that are currently on this particular choice board, the board of choices. You can see here the Boardmaker Online link. If you click on that, it takes you to this board and you can customize it if you have a prescription, if you have a subscription to Boardmaker Online. Now, if you don't, that's where that customizable hammer comes in. And we're going to go through that in a little bit. And then here are some activity links. We have 3 different videos that talk about visual supports, that talk about how to use a communication board to get your child talking, that talks about integrating communication boards. So these are more for the person who's going to be engaging with the child, right? Those particular videos are. They're not all that way, but those are examples of them. And then this heart indicates that there's a helpful website. And this is probably just more content to understand the value of choice boards and how to use them. So here we see snack time, and it gives you tons of different pictures that you can download. It's a PDF, you can print it out. If you like it just as it is, and you say, oh yeah, this works. My kiddo loves goldfish, crackers, cookies, pretzels. Sure, all of these work for me. Then you can print that out, you're good to go. But let's say your kiddo does not like goldfish crackers, that your kiddo likes, Cheez-Its instead. And you want it to be like super cut. You want it to say Cheez-Its because that's like the go-to, right? Or veggie sticks, or a particular brand of something. And that's what they call it. That's what they name it. Well, and of course, if your kiddo sees something that he or she wants, then that's going to you give them that intrinsic motivation to just communicate it, right? So we want these things to be motivating, which is why customizing is good. We want our kiddos to think, we want them to know that they have an opportunity to give us as much information as possible, to be as specific as possible. This is exactly what I want, So customization is a really cool feature. Because it really engages our kiddos as they see that they're strong motivators, the things they really like, the things that are meaningful to them are there on that visual aid. So if you decide you want to customize, whoops, did that again, that you would like to customize it and you don't have your board maker online link, then you can just click on the hammer and that's going to take you to a customization form. We're going to talk about that in just a few minutes. But first, I want to take us through a little bit more so that you can familiarize yourself with this particular, with the library and understand how these things, we're starting to see a pattern here, right? So I just want to take you through these for some examples. So the choice boards, we've got them for snack time. As you can see here, we've got actual photos of snacks, sometimes just using those kind of picture like drawing pictures are a little more abstract for our kiddos. So we can actually customize with real photos of things that they really like and that are meaningful to them, which is even more helpful a lot of times. And we've got those in Spanish. We've got lunchtime. So these are things that might be helpful in a school environment as our kiddos are trying to navigate lunchtime. We've got playground. What do you want to play, right? Here we go. So we've got what do you want to play on the playground? And I want to just look, here's something just as specific as Burger King, right? So you can customize I guess this is just a great example to let you know, like, how far you can go with customizing things, right? And so let's take a look here. I think that this is a great example to use. I'm going to pull up just to show you how the ease of use here. So let's say you want to print out something to go to the playground. And you want to learn a little bit more. So let's take a look at these links and just see, what they provide. I'm going to click on this video and see what it says. Core board on the playground. Okay.
Leo, what do you like to play? I like, show him. Slide. Show us the slide.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just stop that because I just wanted to use it as an example. So here is just content for you to see and understand how utilizing a core board like this or a choice board like this gives your student or your kiddo an opportunity to engage and communicate meaningfully with his typically developing peers in this case. They're also using the board, right? So he doesn't feel so alone using these pictures. There's something everyone can use. And so that's just an example of some of the links that we provide to really help enhance your knowledge about this and understanding about how it can be effective and give you ideas about how you can use it in the community as well. So we've got the choice boards. I think that that's pretty self-explanatory. It's about choosing things across different environments. Visual schedules, these are for things like routines, whether that's washing hands, toileting, going through a morning routine. And we've got tons of printable PDFs, as you can see, more links, helpful websites and videos. You can just print out the PDF as is, or as you can see, these are in blue and they are customizable. So we have more visual schedules, boys and girls getting dressed, school schedules, if you want to work on step by step, schedules for school. We've got going to the bathroom sequencing, etc. So tons and tons of visual aids to help you guys with routines, expectations, getting things done, self-care, etc. We have the core board section, and basically what core boards mean is that core vocabulary words versus like fringe vocabulary words, those meaningful words that really give students or kiddos an opportunity to really communicate in the most effective way. Those core words that are saying, allowing that person to express a need or a want or a feeling, etc. But some of these, as you can see, this says location 12. That means there are 12 pictures on here. We've got tons of links to understand a little bit more about it. Again, some of them are interactive for kiddos, some of them are for grown-ups, learning how to better use these AAC systems. Again, in blue, so it's customizable. And we've got boards depending on the level of communication your child has, their age and level of communication, what is pertinent in their lives, etc. We might have more options available. So that we've got core with just 12 pictures and icons. We have core 20, so it has 20 different pictures and icons, and we even have, I believe, 30. So we've got ones with 30 different pictures and icons. So again, just based on where your child is with communicating, you have an option of choosing the different number of pictures that you want to be represented. This is 48. So that just gives you an idea of that. And again, same format. You have the board maker link, you've got the different activity links. So it really starts to become, repetitive here. We start to understand, oh, okay, these are the things that I have. These are all the tools that I have to navigate this. So I just push to the right arrow. I want to make sure you guys see we have more stuff. That's not where it ends. You do have to continue to move your screen over to get to some of the other activities. This is all, again, very repetitive as far as the format. So I'm not going to go through each thing. But as you can see, we've got activities like getting a haircut. So tons of different topics that pertain to most of our daily lives. Arts and crafts activities. We've got tons of, let's see here, I'll just click on a purple heart, which will link us to a helpful website. So let's see here. 10 easy crafts for kids with motor disabilities. And so this is providing you with a little more content. It's giving you craft ideas. And then you can, while you're engaging in one of these craft ideas, then you can help your kiddo. Hold on just a second, I gotta move this toolbar. So you got the craft idea, and you've got the supplies for the craft ideas, or maybe you have a couple of different craft ideas. And now you've got this PDF you can print out, or where your kiddo can communicate certain things, like what color he or she wants to use. They can request glue or scissors or pencils or paper, right? And so you now have the communication tool in place. You have a reference to activities you can do specifically for kiddos that might have fine motor challenges. So that's kind of bringing us back to what I was talking about, that holistic piece. Literacy, we've got different books. The act of reading a book, right? That activity. So reading a book, this gives you kind of those core icons, pictures for what it means to engage in reading a book. In addition to that, I thought this one was really cool. You're provided with some examples and some different activities that you can work with. So here's a great example. I love this one. This is the Brown Bear book, which is a really common book for some of our younger kiddos, all younger kiddos. We can see that we can just print this out, this PDF out. And it has some of the icons that are featured in the book Brown Bear. So as you're reading the Brown Bear book, you can actually have your kiddo participate by using the icons we're providing in our low-tech library. This is really cool. For those of you who use GoTalks, we actually have a printable that you can put in your GoTalk 9 if you have a GoTalk 9, which is really cool. So then our kiddos can push that button and hear the word. We have some different letter boards for literacy, but I want to go back to Brown Bear because I thought it was really cool. So with this, so let's say you print out your Brown Bear printables, your visual, your pictures, and this helpful website gives you tons of ideas about how to incorporate those symbols into reading the Brown Bear book. So here it tells you lots and lots of different, gives you some visual aids on, let's take a look here, of ways that you can incorporate your AAC and your low-tech communication tool into reading a book. So here it just gives you some examples. Obviously more to read than we're going to go over here, but I just wanted to show you some visual examples. It even gives you teaching strategies. So you've got tons of information to work with. And then in addition to that, I wanted to give you an example because I did say that there are videos and songs. I wanted to give you an example of one of our music note icons, which takes you to an AAC representation of the song, of the Brown Bear song. So let's take a look at that.
Writing's not that easy.
Sorry for the
Grammarly
commercial.
can help. This sentence is grammatically correct.
Okay.
Brown bear, what do you see? I see a red bird looking at me. Red bird, red.
All right, I'm not going to make you guys all listen to the entire Brown Bear song, but I think that gives you an idea. Again, just another resource that is reinforcing this full total communication, right? So our kiddos who are using these icons to help them communicate can listen and see it on the screen. They can get theirs involved as well, and so we're just reinforcing this communication in lots of different ways, multi-sensory experiences, which is how our kiddos learn best, through multi-sensory experiences. Well, we all do, quite frankly. And so it goes on and on, right? So there's the literacy piece, and then we've got health and medical, so going to the dentist, going to the doctor, different kind of social stories or icons that represent what that looks like, right? How that feels, answers some questions or concerns. Holidays, special occasions. We've got some holidays coming up. This is a work in progress. We're continuing to add more content to this. And so not every holiday is good to go, but we do have some holidays that are coming up that you might want to take a look at and see if you can utilize some of those low-tech communication tools to enhance your kiddos' communication as you're preparing to open gifts for the holidays, etc., or engage in, holiday traditions, etc. And then finally, I wanted to go ahead and highlight this one as well, because we've had workshops on behavior. We've talked a lot about communication and behavior and the link between the two of them. And so I just wanted to let you know too, you've got it in blue here. We have customizable communication boards. So when I say this is kind of a one-stop shop for all of your communication, low-tech communication needs, really is. We really covered a lot of content here and a lot of different areas of need. So here we've got token economy boards and an activity link on how to use a token economy board. You can just print those out. It's customizable as well. We have our first then boards with, again, more communication tips, helpful links to websites, and a couple of different first then options, like so. Emotional regulation. So if you want to print out or customize feelings cards, etc., we've got them right here, which is really cool. And so again, hopefully now you're getting that pattern, right? That every section has the same, flows in the same way. And as long as you are aware and understand those helpful links, understand kind of the language we're talking about with the description, the location, etc. And then you understand that the areas, the white boards that we see are not customizable, they're printable, unless you have the Board Maker Online link. I believe that's right, and I'll have Amanda clarify. And then otherwise, the blue sections are customizable. So let's get to that. So if you would like to customize any of the boards that we have available in our library that are highlighted in blue, then you can do that. And our team, our AAC team, is here to help with that. There is a simple online form that you fill out, but I'm going to let let me get back to my thing here. Okay, here we go. So you can customize instantly if you have that Board Maker subscription. And if you don't, you can request a customization by clicking on the hammer icon and completing an online form. So with that, I'm going to introduce here. We've got an amazing AAC team at DSCBA, a couple of AT-AAC specialists, speech and language pathologists, and today joining us, and who's been a big part of creating, developing the content for this library and managing it. We have our AAC and communications tech and librarian, Amanda Roberson. And so Amanda, if you are with us, I'm going to hand it over to you to be able to help our folks understand how to navigate that a customization request form and take any questions they may have about that.
Okay. So you guys, so when you go to the Down syndrome website, the DSCBA website, and you go onto the Padlet, you're going to see the hammer for the customization for every blue board. So any of these blue boards can be customized, whether that's for different locations. And so I know someone in the chat brought up that the schedule, and I feel like the schedule and behavior are big things that might need to be customized because schedules go by the student, whether they're in class or they're at home, or a routine that you guys have. So you would click that hammer and then you would fill in the information here. If you go down, if you scroll down or scroll up, you choose the board that you want to customize. So you would go and you would look at the title of the board that you want to customize. And so someone brought up schedules, which is up to the closer to the top. Okay, why can't I see schedules? I gotta pull up my screen. Just had it on mine. Okay, so let's look at snack. So if we do snack, since it's already up there, you'll click snack time, and whether you want to do the actual picture of the snack, like so maybe it's a special type of yogurt that your child or student recognizes, then you would click a photo one. If it's a PEX that you just want to generalize PEX, then you would get a PEX picture icon. You'll choose one of those. If it needs to be in Spanish, the same goes for that. And so when you scroll up to, so say it's snack time and you just want a general PEX for that. Then you will describe where do you want the picture. So say you want it at the top. So say it's a picture. So say if it's a location, we have location. So say there's there are 4 squares by 4. You want it in the top corner because that's the one that the top left corner, because that's the one that they're gonna go to. That's the one that you want them to see first, or that's the one they request and it's easier access for them. So you would tell me that. You will also, if there's pictures, specifically pictures that you have, like if it's like a personal picture of mom or dad or things like that, then you would email that to me and tell me exactly what that picture represents. So if the student or child calls you mom or calls you another name or nana or something like that, then you will write that and I can put that onto the icon. Also, if you need it to be more, if you need it to only be less locations, we can also make it bigger icons. You can make smaller icons. We can make it 2 locations or 4 locations. It doesn't have to be the exact 12 that's on there, or so it can be customized for that too. I received, so we give it about 3. I'll receive this email and then you will we'll communicate within 3 days. So for Eileen said, can you customize a daily school schedule or create a calendar? Yes, you can. And once we get your email, I can go back and forth if I have any questions or anything like that. And then you can also mail in pictures if that's what you need to do too. And we can always scan them and do things like that if you can, or if you're not able to send them over emails. I know that gets tricky with photos from phones and things like that. So you're also able to mail them in.
I was going to
Yes.
ask Amanda, for those members who may not have access to printing out the PDFs or printing out these communication boards, do they have the ability to have us print them out at Down Syndrome Connection and send those out, or ready for pickup, etc.?
I think that's a
Yes.
Nancy question.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Nancy, okay.
We will mail the boards home. Yes.
So we've in the past have printed out customized boards and packets and things that are needed and mailed them out before. So yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, as you guys know, we always want to make sure that we give everyone as much access and opportunity as much as possible. So if you don't have a printer, don't shy away from using the board, customize away, and then we can help you out with the printing and making sure that it gets to you.
Yeah, and this is Nancy. You really want it to be done on a color printer because color really makes a difference here on boards. So definitely, if you don't have a color printer, then just ask us and we'll do our best. We can even create the board for you, email it to you, and then you print out the changed board, the customizable board. But again, if you don't have a printer at home, we're happy to mail it to you. So it's a matter of communicating with Amanda and the team and just telling them what your needs are. Also, I want to make sure that everybody understands, because sometimes in our world of therapy and education, we tend to use acronyms that people aren't used to. Don't let PCS fool you. What that means is that's the actual symbol you would like to have. So when you saw some of the boards that Elizabeth was showing, those are symbols, and they're symbols of a person eating, or of a stick figure. It'll look like a stick figure. So what we're asking you is to say whether you're okay with a symbol, or whether you want to provide us a photo of your child doing something, or you can go to Google Images and say, I'd like to have this image, or you can just ask for us to supply an image.
And also, if it's gender that needs to be changed, I can do gender. It can be diverse. If you need diversity, I can do diversity. So like, it's whatever you guys need. I'm here to change the icons the way you need them to be changed. Say your child has a female doctor and you want them to, or if you want the actual picture of their doctor. So things like that, I'm able to customize and do.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I don't know about the rest of you guys who've joined us for this, but we are really, really excited. I mean, to know that we've got Amanda, who is able to really give you guys a truly customized experience, to be able to support your child or student's communication to the greatest extent possible, I think is really, really exciting and worth really getting in here and starting to explore. Amanda, thank you so much for explaining the customization process and the form. And again, if you guys have any questions at all about that, if you run into a hiccup, or if it feels a little confusing for you once you're in it, please feel free to reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to help you navigate that. And so with that, I want you to just remember a few things. It may look a little overwhelming, but there's a pattern. Hopefully you guys have seen that. I think we were able to really kind of dive in enough so that you could kind of see that pattern. Just takes a little bit of getting used to. Have fun and explore. There are a ton of great resources, so please don't feel like you have to take them all in right now, right? Little digestible chunks. I think it's important to take your time, make sure you're focusing on what's pertinent to your life, right? Your child and your student. There's plenty of time. It's not going anywhere. And again, we're continuing to build on it as well. So there's plenty of time to reference back to it, print out new boards and work from there, but focus on what's most meaningful for your life, your situation, your child, your students' needs right now. And then just explore. Provide feedback. This is new. This is our low-tech library is just getting on its feet, and so we always welcome constructive feedback. Let us know if you run into any navigational issues, if you have any ideas about what you think could make it even better. Please feel free to communicate that to us. We're always looking for ways to improve our services. We want to support you in the most meaningful way we can. So please always feel free to let us know what's working and what's not. Share with your education team. So if you are parents here and you are or caregivers and you are starting to get into this and you're realizing this is making a good impact, and as we sometime next year possibly transition into a physical school classroom, you want to be able to share these tools with your team so that they understand how to foster successful communication for their student. Also, please feel free to reach out to us with any questions or concerns, because we are here to support you. So with that, if we have Nancy, just let us know if you have any questions from our folks.
I don't have any questions, but what I'd like to add is that I want to say that the reason why this was created is because it truly is, everybody deserves an opportunity to have a voice. And it truly is very important to use total communication. And that means in any way possible, we can provide aids or tools to make that happen. So as you've seen Elizabeth and Amanda talk today, I hope that this has brought up some, situations that you can see yourself using these tools in. For example, if you play a game on a nightly basis and you want to create a board to maneuver, to allow communication for that game, that's another thing to do. If you want a recipe to cook cookies or whatever, that's another way to use a board. But really, it's kind of endless. But what we're trying to do is provide an opportunity to have two-way communication. And this is one way to do it. And it's very, very powerful. Don't be fooled. This is very powerful. We use this in our summer school every year, and we actually have children telling us what they want, what they need, how they feel, what they want to eat. And this is, again, very powerful and can be a game changer. And by this modeling happening during this modeling brings about verbal communication. So the more we use these, the more we model, the more verbal communication will happen.
Mm-hmm. And again, folks, I just want to remind you, that's why we have all of those links in those videos, because if you're like, I don't modeling and what do what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to do this? Make sure you check out those links. Get a good understanding about how, I want you to feel empowered to use these. Don't feel overwhelmed. I'm not a speech and language pathologist, but I have found that I can model and utilize these boards to work with kiddos and really help foster successful communication. You can do it too with your kiddos. It's just about, diving into this content, gaining a good understanding about how you can help your child improve communication skills. And I think that you're going to find it just as rewarding as we've found it working with our students and kiddos for so many years. And again, they've really selected some great videos to help empower you with understanding of how to do this effectively and meaningfully.
Okay, we have no questions.
All right. Well, with that, everyone, again, we really appreciate you joining us. You know where to find me if you have any questions after this about this content, anything else education related. Again, I want to thank you, Amanda, for joining us today. And everybody, Amanda's going to be busy, I have a feeling. And we hope she is. We do hope that you guys take advantage of this really rich library that we're developing now. And we can't wait to hear some of your success stories using our low-tech library and our AAC tools for communication. So thank you guys so much. Have a great weekend and happy holidays to everybody.
Happy holidays, everybody. Thank you guys for coming.
Happy
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.